Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Century Business Solutions Martin Associates Integrated Payments presentation today. My name is Tom Hagan. I'm through a quick overview of who Century Business Solutions is, the nature of our partnership with Martin and Associates, and then we're going to turn it over for a demo of our payments integration with Sage 100 and show some differentiating features and functionality of what we call our EBizCharge Connect Payments Portal. So with that here, I'll launch right into this. First slide, we're headquartered in Irvine, California. Our headquarters there in the building with the nice, blue skies and palm trees. Certainly not an image for those in the Northeast at this time of the year, which is where I'm located. But for those folks out in SoCal, they're I'm sure enjoying that good weather. So a little bit of Century Business Solutions and our agenda for today. Why Century? What are some of the benefits of our secure payment processing platform and our EBizCharge, again, the demo that we're going to show everybody here today as we get more into this. As far as a little background on Century, we've been in business since 2004. We're, like I said, headquartered in Irvine, California, and we're, not just a payments processor. Among our integrations, which is where we've decided to focus our efforts as an organization, on the right-hand side of the screen here, you can see we've got a big focus on accounting and ERP software products, certainly Sage 100 being one of them, but there are a number of others, as you can see on the right. And on the left, we also have multiple integrations with many of the more common shopping cart platforms in the industry today as well. So full service provider in that we're the payments provider, we're the gateway option, and we're also the software developer. So we keep everything in-house. In terms of some awards and recognitions, I mean, we've been fortunate to be noted in a few more of the well-known publications in the business trade industry, Forbes, Entrepreneur, so on and so forth. I mean, so it's an indicator that we seem to be on the right track and onto something good here at Century. So we're keep on following down that path. In terms of our gateway, which we call EBizCharge, we have I guess there are some folks that are primarily Sage 100 audience today, but there are some folks, I guess, from the GP world as well. So we do have an integration with GP. So this is just a screenshot of what our integration looks like. We can send this presentation out post-call so anybody can review. No need for me to dictate and read line for line everything that's on here, but again, among the benefits is being able to accept credit cards, debit cards, ACH right within the application, reducing double entry and certainly improving security in that regard. Same thing here for the Sage folks on the call. Same theme, being able to accept the payment right within the software. Again, eliminating that double entry and improvements on security and keeping everybody out of PCI scope, which is important. Our next slide here, again, this is a little more of a deeper dive into our gateway. Some of the benefits include, next day funding, viewing the batch in real time, unlimited batch history, reporting history. I mean, we've got some folks that have been on our solution for well over 10 years, and if they so desired, they could go back that far and grab history on those transactions. So it's a pretty cool little tool as far as the reporting and feature functionality set. In terms of our next slide, this is another function of our EBizCharge gateway, which we call our EBizCharge Connect. Fully developed in-house. It's essentially our customer payments portal. Allows customers to go online and pay invoices, and think of it in terms of a bi-directional integration. So you can customers can upload invoices, push them out to their customers, and then click on a link, have a payment processed, and it'll flow back into the appropriate ERP or accounting system. A component of EBizCharge is our mobile app, which is available on both Android and iOS. And again, a similar theme where invoices, as long as they're generated out of the back office accounting software, can be retrieved from this mobile app, and payment can be processed right through the mobile app. And it also supports EMV chip cards. So if there's a card present scenario involved, such as a field service potential, the ability to process the card with a chip functionality does exist today with this app. So it's kind of a cool feature. Next slide, we have another functionality. This would be a scaled down version of the customer invoicing portal. It's what we call email pay. And it is available to send out a link, and there's no need to log in. It's just a unique URL. Once somebody clicks on it, they can process the payment, and that can be tied back to a specific invoice because, again, it's a unique URL. Some of the integrated EMV solutions or hardware, I guess. We have two right now. We're still working on others, but for today, there's the MP200L and the Vega 3000, which is a newly certified device. A little bit of a step up, I think, from the MP200, but they both support EMV chip cards with our EBizConnect portal. We'll save some Q&A for the end here, but the last part here before I turn it back over for the demo, just we'll send this out post-call. But again, my name's Tom Hagan. I'm our Strategic Partnerships Director, and Bridget Lindstrom is one of our Partner Enablement Managers. And we also have Anne-Marie Villarmosa. She's another of our Partner Enablement Managers. And anybody that has the good fortune to work with either of those great ladies is very, very lucky because they're very, very good at what they do, super professional, and will make for a really great experience. So with that, I guess I'll turn it back over, and we'll launch into the good stuff, the actual demonstration for today.
All right, that sounds good. So I will go ahead and share my screen. This is Anthony from Sentry Business Solutions. And today we're going to go ahead and show you the integration into Sage 100. Let me go ahead and grab that, pull it up here. So our integration into Sage, basically, if you are currently integrated into Sage, takes over the same process. So when you are charging a card inside of Sage currently, we do all the same things. So it works through our sales order, it works through our invoice, works in accounts receivable. You can do credit memos, and we have all those additional tools. So we have the mobile application and EBizCharge Connect and email pay, all those available inside. If you're not currently integrated at doing processing inside of Sage, you'll also have the ability to do that with our process here. So since we integrate in all those different locations, I'll run through a sales order and invoice really quick so you can see what that looks like. So I'm just going to grab our test customer here, put in some miscellaneous items for 100 bucks, 100. And then on the totals tab here, we have the option to go ahead and choose credit card as a payment option. If we do so, this is going to take us over to our payment tab here and allow us to either enter in a new credit card or use an existing one. All of our systems use what's called tokenization to save the credit card. So none of the credit card information resides on your system. It gets saved in our tokenized vault. So we can just go ahead and pull up an existing card if we want to use it. This gives us the convenience of being able to use a saved card without the liability of having to retain that card information. From here, we have the same standard Sage functionality. We can authorize the card for capture later. We can take a down payment. We can pay off the sales order immediately in full. It just depends on what you guys and what your merchants were going to need. In this case, we'll just go ahead and authorize the card real quick so we can make sure it's good. So we have our option to go ahead and submit the card. We can get a response back from the bank immediately. So it'll tell us whether or not the bank approved it or declined it. We also have the functionality to go ahead and email the customer a copy of the receipt once we do the charge. So we want to just let them know that we've gone ahead and authorized this card for a total. We can do that with just a simple click. Once we're done with our sales order, whatever the turnaround time is, we can just push it directly to the invoice. And on the invoice, again, we're going to have all those same functionalities. So we can go ahead and do a capture. If we have additional shipping or anything like that that we've added into the order, all of that will allow us to go ahead and run those credit card charges. But since we already have a card saved on file for the order that we push to the invoice, it's already told us that the Visa has been selected for us. So we don't actually have to do anything at this stage because it's already pulled up that payment information, already pulled forward the transaction information that the bank gave us, and then it will automatically capture it for us at the end of the day when we run our daily sales update. So all that stuff is going to be taken care of for you. Obviously, if you have any customers on terms, anybody with open invoices, that will work the same way through our cash receipt entry. This is going to allow us to pull up any existing cash receipt batches, or we can generate a new one. We're going to have this field here, the credit card deposit amount. It's going to allow us to go ahead and run a credit card charge and apply it to one or more invoices. If I just want to run a $10 transaction for keeping up with a current invoice, we can do that. Grab our test customer one more time, create a new entry for that full $10, and then on our lines, we have the option to select any invoices. All the normal standard Sage functionality works. We can select it from the auto batching. We can select specific invoices. We can pull up the list and choose which one we want to apply it to. And if we don't have anything, of course, a prepayment for an invoice that we're going to give them time to pay off, we can also put the payment on the account as well. Once we've got the invoice we want to post and the dollar amount to charge, we move on to the payment tab. And again, we have the same options we did on that sales order and invoice. We can enter a new credit card. We can use an existing card. We can give the customer a copy of the receipt. And we can also delay these. So if for any reason you think this might change, we can also check off this process and batch button here. And that's going to allow us to not process it immediately, but wait until the end of the day when we run our journal update. So all those different options are available for you. For our purposes, we do want to make sure it's good, so we just submit that card and we'll get a response back posted already. One of the other things that you'll have access to is that email pay and EBizCharge Connect. So those are additional utilities that allow you to post open invoices with a balance due into our portals. The difference between them is mostly that the email pay is designed for those customers who aren't as tech savvy. If they might have trouble creating an account on their own, or if they don't want to go through the hassle of having all of that information stored online, they don't care about saving cards or anything like that. The email pay allows you to send out a one-time payment link for your customers to use. The EBizCharge Connect portal, however, is a little bit more advanced. It does give them more options. So once you have your invoice ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and run through this real quick and post it so it's open and ready. It's going to go up into the Connect portal so that they'll have access to view it online and make those payments. I'm going to go ahead and bounce through this real quick. All right. So if you guys decide you want to use the Connect portal, we're going to add in a couple additional utilities inside of accounts receivable. Down here, you can see we have our email pay and we have our EBizCharge Connect upload and download. So if you put this as part of your normal process, at the end of the day, you might post all your invoices and upload the open invoices to the Connect portal using our open invoice upload utility. This is just going to look through any of those new invoices you've got, and anything that hasn't been posted to the Connect portal is going to automatically be applied into the portal for you. We have a bunch of different options that's going to allow you to notify your customers when an invoice is uploaded. So if you want to just let them know by email automatically that they have a new invoice that's ready to pay, you can enable that option. It's going to have a very simple email by default. Inside of that email is going to have a link that'll be something similar to this. This can be fully customized for each company, so we can put your logo up here, change the color scheme, can have a different landing page picture, whatever you guys need, so that when the customer clicks that link, they know they're logging in with your account and they're going to make a payment with you. Once they have their username and password, and either you can generate that for them or they can create their own account directly from here, they'll log in and this is going to show them all of their open invoices. So everything that we've uploaded previously is going to show up in this list for them to go ahead and make a payment here. They can choose whichever one they want to pay off, so they can select a specific invoice. They can select multiples. If you've allowed it, you can also make a partial payment. So if they're just going to pay down a little bit on an invoice, they can actually select the payment field and they can type in exactly what it is they want to go ahead and run. Oh, that's why. I'm on the wrong account. Let me flip over to our Sage account. The nice thing about the Connect portal is it is a general account that can work for all of our ERP software. So what I was logged into is our QuickBooks environment. This looks a little bit more normal. There's the invoices that I had uploaded. So if we want to pay off any of these, we just check it off. And then as I was saying, if you have the option for your customer to go ahead and make a partial payment, we'll unlock this field for them, and then they can type in the amount that they want to do. So if you have customers with like a $10,000 invoice, they're going to make $2,000 payments down on every month. That's an option that you can enable as well. They'll have the ability to view the invoice. So obviously, if they want to see what it is that they're buying, the view invoice link is going to allow them to see exactly what it is, how much the cost is. And again, it's fully customized for your company, so it'll have your logo up here and your business information. It'll have your customer's billing information here, and it's a dynamic invoice. So once a payment is made, they can come back and click this link, and they'll have like a total due of 0, or if they're making partial payments, it'll tell them the remaining amount. So it'll give them that information every time they click on the link. In our case here, we're going to go ahead and check off a couple of these so that we can post them to Sage. And we're going to leave the amounts full because we're just going to pay them off in full. Then we can navigate over here by the pay by credit card. So if they want to go ahead and pay it down now, they can either enter in new credit card information, or they can use that saved cards. So it uses that same tokenization method, so your customers can add cards on file without having to worry about having that information potentially being stolen. It will also pull this card information down into Sage. So once the customer makes this payment, if this is a brand new credit card, it's going to put it in Sage for you so that you can use it in the future as well if your customer says it's okay. From here, we'll go ahead and use our saved card, put in our security code, and click the Pay Now. If the bank approves, it just moves on to the approval page here, and then they can print this out for their records. They can also email themselves a copy of the receipt. And since it is an online portal behind the login, we're also able to give them reports. So their payment history and their invoice list, they can come here at any time and view this information. It's going to tell them which invoice was paid, when it was paid by, what card was used, how much was done, all that good stuff. And it can be exported at any time, so they can get an Excel document or a Word document of all of the information that is present here. Now, obviously, the last step is to get that payment back into Sage, which is the second utility down here, the payment download utility. So this looks up into the Connect portal to see if any payments have been made. And if there are, it's going to download those payments automatically, create that payment record for you, and then generate a cash receipt and apply it to the invoice. So at that point, you're done. You've uploaded the invoices, your customer has done the work to make the payment, and then you download those payments to get them back into Sage. You can, of course, always check it. So we could go into our cash receipt entry here just to make sure that everything is aligned. Then it's going to go ahead and create that auto batch for us. So it's generated all those cash receipts and applied them to all the invoices that we've had previously uploaded into the Connect portal. Now, the last segment that I would like to point out real quick is our online gateway. So whenever you run a transaction, all the transactions will end up inside of the merchant console. And this is an online reporting gateway that anybody can have access to. We can have multiple different access points with different permission levels. So if you have somebody who should only be able to view but not make any changes, but you also want a master access account where you can do corrections or credits or something like that, we have all those different options in here for you. So I'll flip over to our Sage environment real quick here. And this is going to show us all the transactions we've ran today in real time. So by the time you log into the Connect portal, it's going to show, or the Gateway portal, it's going to show you all the transactions you've run. They're all links, so all this information in here allows you to navigate around really easily, and we give you a ton of different breakdowns. So up here at the top, we give you your breakdown by sales, voids, and credits, so you can see what money's going to come in. We're also going to have the amount total right here, so this is what's going to be funded to your bank account on a daily basis. We break it down by our sources, so obviously where the transaction is run from is handy information to have. If it's the mobile application, a website, the eConnect, Sage directly, GP, whatever it happens to be, it's going to show you exactly where it came from. And then your card types over here is this last one. So your Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express will be split out into this wheel as well. Down here is your breakdown for all those individual transactions. So we can see that customer payment is here. Payment that we made earlier is in here as well. So all of this information will be readily available. And like I said, it's all links. So if you click on one of these, it's going to show you the information for this specific transaction. And as mentioned previously, this is in here for the lifetime of the account. So if you need to come back 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line to get some information for a customer or do a reconciliation, all the information here is available to you. It is all, again, permission-based, so depending on what this account has access to, they'll have access to more or less buttons over on the site. So you can print an email, you can void out a transaction, you can issue a quick refund. All this is available to you. And it's also going to give you the related activities. So this little list down here is a very brief overview of what's previously been run on the card. And this is a handy little tool in case you ever have like a discrepancy. So if a customer calls you and says, hey, I think you double charged me for order 5, 6, 7, 8, you can come in here, click on that order, and then take a look. If you happen to see two transactions that match, you can also click on any of these because they're links, and it'll take you right into that transaction details. Then it'll tell you which invoice number it was for, when it was run, who did the charge. You can follow up. You can take a look at other things. You can always get that reconciliation and make sure everything is correct. If you are looking for a specific transaction, we also have that pretty powerful search tool up here. So again, if you do have that customer who's saying that I think I was double charged, you can type in any information in here. And this is going to go ahead and help you narrow down finding those specific transactions. So if you know the customer's name, last four of the card number, dollar amount, any of that information, you can find it in here with the search field. If you need to expand your results, because a search is designed to get you 2-1 results, a day's batch will show you only the transactions you ran that day. You can also find those inside the reports. So for those of you who have to do month-end reconciliation or daily reconciliation or anything like that, this is going to be your best friend. We give you a bunch of predefined reports. So the most commonly used is our sales by date because people want to see how much they've run every day. But if you do get a decline and you want to come in here and do some research on it before you call your customer, you can get your declines by date or declines by reason. Because we work with both credit cards and e-checks, we have different pre-made reports for them. And if the initial reports don't do what you're wanting, you want to have them sorted in a different way, you want different information, you want them to be sent to you on a regular basis, but we do have the ability to create custom reports as well, so we can generate as many of those as you want. Since the sales by date is what most people will use, this is going to show you the information for every day's transactions. So it's going to be showing you 30 days by default, but you can expand it out to quarterly or monthly or yearly, whatever you're looking for. And it's going to show you all of your transactions. So over here is your batch total. So again, if you're going to do that month-end reconciliation, you want to know which each day's batch is for, you can come in here and get your totals really easily. You can also compress this. So this is the expanded details. If you're only concerned about the totals to begin with, you can get a compressed version that just has the summary overall as well. Our batches do have the ability to auto-close for you. So we're going to do all of the information handling, all of the data handling for you. So you won't necessarily even need to come back here. But it is that additional tool for you should you ever have the need to do any reconciliation in that form. All right. So that is the majority of our tools. Obviously, that was a very quick overview of it. If you guys have any additional questions regarding that, I believe that's our next segment. Am I correct in that assumption, Tom?
I believe so. Betsy, did you want to open it up the line for Q&A now?
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box and we can answer them, or you can unmute yourself. There should be an option at the bottom of your screen to unmute, and you can ask them. Give you a couple minutes to unmute yourself or ask any questions. Maybe in the meantime, Tom, you can just run through quickly what ERP systems your solution works with.
Sure, no problem. So, of course, we have Sage 100. We have Microsoft GP. In the Microsoft world, we do AX and Nav as well. Working on an integration or pretty close to having one for D365. We work with Epicor. We work with Acumatica. There's probably several others. Bridget, Anne-Marie, Anthony, what am I missing? There's a bunch of others, actually.
I know we have one for QuickBooks. We have, let me just go down the list. Acumatica, BusinessWorks, our standalone POS, Epicor, AX, GP, Nav, NetSuite, Peachtree, QuickBooks, Sage 100, Sage 500, SAP, and Zoho CRM.
Okay, we have another question that came in. It said, is it a percentage per credit card charge that the end user would receive? How do you do your credit card fees?
Right. Yep. So great question. We typically, in majority of the cases, there's an existing payments provider. So our policy here at Century is, we have match or beat pricing. And we also, in a lot of cases, of course, everything in payments is case by case, but in a lot of cases, what we'll try to do is just make the pricing really easy for our customer, where we'll offer out a single rate, pricing structure, no transaction fee or anything, just, one rate. So it makes it real simple and easy to budget what your credit card fees are going to be month over month. So, but that said, we do have a match or beat policy. So, in competitive circumstances, we can, be as competitive as we need to be to earn the business.
Okay, thanks. Another question we have is, can I email my clients a receipt from the portal?
Yes. Anthony, did you want to speak to that maybe a little bit, or?
Yeah. So inside of the reporting gateway, inside the details of any transaction, you have the ability to print a physical copy or email a copy. Most of our ERPs also have the ability to email a copy of the receipt when you do the transaction. So inside of Sage, it's just a little checkbox. If you check that off when you run the transaction, it's automatically going to send it to whatever email address is on the customer's record.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have, unless anyone else wanted to unmute their line to ask. Doesn't look like anyone has unmuted themselves. I think we can wrap it up.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for attending today, and thank you, Century, for going over your solution for the Martin Associates Group. And if you have any questions, I will be sending out a follow-up email, and you can respond back to that, or you can reach out to your Martin and Associates account manager. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Betsy. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks.